that the nation of Kenya can never be allowed to defeat the beast system. This prophecy is for Kenya, the nation of Kenya that is currently in tumult, currently in turmoil, currently burning everything that their young people can get their hands on, extremely angry, calling for the resignation of the president, demonstrating in the streets. The whole country is up in arms. Even the old people that can't join the protests are upset. And the Lord said that the nation of Kenya can never be allowed to defeat the beast system. African countries, you must listen in. You must listen in. Don't listen and think, oh, this is Kenya's prophecy. Yes, this is Kenya's prophecy, because Kenya is going to be the Truman for you to look at how it works. After you hear this prophecy, if you still insist on sleeping, then you're sleeping on your own. So if you're African, whether you're diaspora, whether you're at home in your country, wherever you are, listen. Kenya can never be allowed to defeat the beast system. They will never be allowed to have the last word or a permanent victory. Therefore, look for them to be defeated by the same government in the near future for doing what they did, for going on TV, for striking back at their government which they elected. They shall never be allowed to make this example and remain. The beast system will strike at them harder than ever before by the same government. Ruto is the same one who will do this to them. This government that they have sent scattering in the streets is the same one that will form a fist of oppression and strike back harder at them. They are fighting for their freedom, but they will not have it. For no government that is under the control of the beast system shall allow its people to offend them like this. They will be told what to do from the head, and then they will do it. Fires of revolution are coming to the nations. And yes, they will burn for a while, but eventually those fires will be put out. The final rise of the system that tramples the residue is in movement. Soon, protests will be met with armed force and police brutality that is far beyond the norm. And when it does, people will cry out from their woes and oppression. Yet this shall not stop the advance of the beast system, nor shall it cause the hand of control to retract. The beast will use cunning, craft, magic, dialogue, witchcraft, seduction, artifice, manhandling, disinformation, and brute force to achieve its objectives. People will crumble in front of this system like bread, and their needs will only be met as long as they comply. And so, the prophecy that I first made about Kenya was over a year ago, just a little over a year ago. I made that prophecy on April 27th, 2023. And at that time, I was observing to the people in the United States the fulfillment of a previous prophecy that had been made in September of 2022, saying that God revealed to me that the pastors are murderers, that the pastors are killers, that the pastors actually commit murder to hide the sins that they are involved in. So a pastor will be involved in sin and somebody finds out about it. Pastors also would commit murder to hide ambition. So if pastors, perhaps if a junior pastor or a medium pastor wanted the senior pastor's position, then yes, there could be a poisoning. And since he is the next obvious choice, then he gets the chair, he gets the church. And God was just basically saying that the pastors are also in the occult, that the pastors are part of multiple brotherhoods, that the pastors are part of multiple sects, they are part of lodges, they are part of all manner of evil covenants. They are serving Satan. It's just that in America, the God that they join and serve is the Baphomet, this one that has an overarching control over movies and music industry and the pastoral lineage and All of them, that's basically that version of the God. But Satan is Satan, no matter how many hats he's wearing. Just because he's diversifying doesn't mean that we don't know that he is at the core of all these rebellions against God. And so God was talking about pastoral murder. And I was sharing with people that this thing that happened in Kenya, which was so heinous, was a textbook example of the kind of mass killing of people who keep following false pastors. But in that prophecy, God also said that the President William Ruto was going to find himself in trouble because he was going to be governing a much different Kenya than the Kenya he inherited. God says that he was going to find himself governing a very different Kenya to the one his predecessors gave him. The Lord made the remark that this man was a good man. And up to this moment in time, Kenyans are reacting so strongly and with so much rejection and vitriol of this statement. But by the time this prophecy is done, you have a better understanding of what that statement means and especially how it relates to you as a Kenyan. My rule of thumb is that when you come here, you should understand that I'm not sitting here having political commentary, social commentary, biblical commentary, or religious commentary of my views. You will never know my views. If you watch the videos, these are my views. Exactly what God says, they are the same views that I have. Because nobody who is in their right mind as a Christian is going to hear God state what his views are and then say, but I don't know, can't we moderate that? And can't we find a side panel and let's have diversity and inclusion? Every right-minded Christian knows that God never strays from his word. And so if God has views and you have other views, then you may be something else. But I know one thing that you are not. You are not a believer. You are not a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. You are not a Christian. You don't belong to the Lord's fold, because he doesn't have strays in there. And now God is bringing Kenya an update to their prophecy. And this is what he is saying. Kenya, you will never be allowed to defeat the beast system. You're in the streets right now and you're upset, and you may have a right to be upset if people are trying to hike taxes on you when you're already not being paid fair market value for your labor. Maybe the economy is contracting. I don't know what the social or the economic situation is over there because that is not my portion. My portion is to read out what God is telling you and to interpret it for you so that you will not be confused. And what God is saying is that Kenya, which is right now a typology of a fiery revolution. The title of this prophecy is The Fires of Revolution, the Rise of the Beast System. So Kenya is a typology of a fiery revolution that has risen up because all the Trumans in the nation of Kenya have started to realize that there's some very rotting fish in the country. The country is not smelling so fragrant as it was when Kenyans were dancing a year ago to welcome their new president, to have him come in. They were happy. They were excited. They chose him. You chose him. But now he is in, and he seems to be wearing another skin. And this is why you take umbrage with the old words in the prophecy that says he is good. I'm here to let you know that when good men come into positions of power, they deal with pressures that you at the lower level, that we at the lower level know very little about. Here in America, there's more of an understanding because people know in America that absolute power corrupts absolutely. In America, there's a very wide group of people who understand that it doesn't matter how clean cut a man is. It doesn't matter how well-meaning a man is. It doesn't matter how committed to his faith a man is. The minute that man begins to draw near to the centralized magnetic pole of power in the United States, he's going to end up gay. He's going to end up cruel. He's going to end up having affairs. He's going to end up snorting cocaine surrounded by 18 hookers, unaware that he is being taped, because he will get an invitation to a party and he will not know that every woman at that party has been paid. They will all be his type in all the various hair colors of the world. Every woman at the party who is single will be paid. And the reason that all those women will be paid is because his enemies are saying, it doesn't matter if Keisha gets him or if Marcy gets him. All of you focus your attention on him, and eventually one of you will be successful, or two or three of you will be successful in saying, I'm staying at the same hotel. Would you like to